Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, Vice President for Communications and External Affairs at Parkland College, and this is the show where we talk to people making things happen here at Parkland. And today, I have the pleasure of Dr. Lau, the new president of Parkland College, joining us on the show. Welcome, Dr. Lau.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. It's good to have this conversation.
Yes, and we've spoken before on the report, but never with you in this this new role that's about 8 weeks in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. And we spoke, I believe, in the fall with Dr. Ramage about the transition, but now you've fully made the leap to the role of president. So tell us what that has been like.
So in some ways, because I have been understudying Dr. Ramage, it's not different. It's still the same building, the same leadership team that I work with, the same good people at Parkland. I think one of the big, differences is, aside from the fact that I change office, like physically locate to a different office, I think the psychological sense of now I am the leader. And I used to joke in the past year that Dr. Ramage was still there, and the buck stops with him. But now I realize that there is no other person that the buck stops with, it's with me. But I have been reaffirmed in my belief and conviction that there is no other better community college to be the president of. And it's been a good run. It's been 8 weeks, and I've enjoyed it.
That's wonderful. And so you're diving into lots of new things, getting out in the community, and there's some internal planning and things underway. And I know earlier today you had a meeting about the strategic plan. And so do you want to maybe share with our audience what that process looks like, and then what that vision for the future of Parkland might start to shape up as?
Oh, that's a very good question. So our current strategic plan ends next year. So this is a very good timing as the new president, the new leader of the college, to think with the college community what our new strategic plan going forward is. And for those people who don't know, a strategic plan is like a roadmap of where you want to get to as a college. So at the beginning of the semester, I sat with some leaders in our college planning committee, and we spent many hours looking at what do we want our vision to be? That sort of, what is our dream for where the college is going to be 5, 10 years from now? It's an ideal image of where we are. And then based on that, to craft a strategic plan. So these are the main goals that we have that will guide us to get toward that dream. So we are in that process now. I have a draft of the dream, the vision, a draft of the 5 strategic goals and the objectives under each of those goals. And we're currently sort of bringing the college community to discuss each of those things with us. So today was the first session where we looked at the vision, we looked at the 5 strategic goals, and it was a very good conversation. And that was what I was looking forward to, that it's not just words on a piece of paper that a few people have put together, but that people as part of Parkland, we're going to come together and really discuss this, and this is going to be our plan as we move forward to bring the college to new levels of success in student access.
That's wonderful. The strategic plan, right, it covers the entire institution and helps to move people forward. But in your role and looking toward the future, are there some specific things that you're looking for to really move the needle on, or that you're specifically looking to address, either in the strategic plan or in your role as president, to sort of shine a light on those different aspects?
So I have talked about, in addition to sort of our 5 strategic goals to get to our goals, that I'm looking at 3 what we call cross-cutting themes. Like regardless of what we're doing, there are 3 things we want to emphasize. One is access, the other one is the success of our students, and then the third, that we ensure that we bring value to the students that come to us. One of the things that I really want to that together as a community we make a move on is this whole notion of access. We have a lot of people that come to Parkland, and everywhere I go, people say Parkland is the jewel. My daughter came here, my grandson came and achieved. People have told us I started my college career starting at Parkland. These are all good, and we are very happy for those. But we do realize that there are other people who could benefit from Parkland who are not coming to us. and thinking in terms of who is at the margins of post-secondary education that we can bring in and help them see that there is value for them here at Parkland, and that we are here to get them to the next step, whether it's in terms of further studies or next step in their college career, in helping lift them out of whatever economic level they're at, to give them hope that there is a career forward for them. So looking at seeing we can make new headway in that direction.
Yeah, and I know you're really building relationships in the community to help
Yes.
to mobilize that. So can you share a little bit about some of the conversations you're having out in the community to hear what are those connecting points that we can bring people in and help them get that economic uplift you were talking about?
So looking at different ways in which we can come up with, whether it's short-term training or long-term training, we hear from employers, right, that there are jobs available in so many different industries. We at community college can provide a lot of that training, and so looking for ways in which we can partner with high schools, whether it's through our early college and career academy, or working directly with the high school districts to help high school students realize that there's a path for them. And then, as always, there are our transfer pathways, which are so important. And students come to us and really helping them see that we are a very good stepping stone to getting a bachelor's degree. And, you know, that whole question of how can you get out of college without big college debt, I would say start at your local community college. And for us, it is Parkland College.
Yeah. And one of the things I think is really interesting right now, a trend that we're seeing is growth in early college enrollment. So the earlier that you can get those credits, the faster you get a start on college. So how has that changed over time? You've been at Parkland, quite a number of years, came up through academic services and have seen that grow. So what has that been like, and where do you think the future for those high school students is going to be moving forward? Is this going to continue to expand, or what are your thoughts?
I think so, that we've seen, right, that through the pandemic that there has been an uptick, and not only at Parkland, across the state, across the nation. We're seeing that more high school students are seeing that early college, getting that first step into college is going to be a good thing. And our higher achieving students see that it's not only a way of starting their college career for their families, it is actually a budget conscious way of getting some credits out of the way before you actually transfer to a four-year school. But the thing that locally we've seen a great interest in is in our early college and career academy, that these are students who may want to transfer, but they're also interested in some of our career offerings. So to see students come in to start classes in manufacturing, in automotive technology, in criminal justice, in education, preparing to be teachers, and in construction. We are seeing a building interest in that. And I think that's really good to help students get a flavor of what may be a possible career. Start with us while they're in high school. And for many of them, they start with us through the ECCA. And then upon graduating from high school, they either got a short certificate already, or they seamlessly transitioned to us to complete their associates in applied science. So that's a new area of growth that I think will grow even more in years to come.
Yeah, the applied science areas are really interesting as well, because there's a little bit of dispelling of myths that has to happen sometimes for students to see what the real opportunities are in industries like automotive or manufacturing or even agriculture. So what are some of the conversations you're having, or some of your thoughts about how we can reshape our thought process about those types of careers?
So I think you touched upon something important, that many of those industries, that there are a lot of jobs available, but people's understanding of what is involved in those jobs hasn't kept up with the changes in those industries. So the images that people might have for agriculture, for example, the whole sense of, well, I don't come from a farming family, so ag is not for me. But that's not the case. There's so many different ways in which agriculture has different jobs available, whether it's in business, whether it's in growing, whether it's in raising of animals, whether it's in the technology that now is part of ag. There's so many opportunities available. Same with manufacturing. Most of us have an image of factory worker. You take a part and you fix a part and you don't have any creativity. But in today's manufacturing world, you need to know computers, you have to be able to work in the digital environment, you need to be able to be creative. Problem-solving skills are in demand. No day on the job is exactly the same as the day before. So again, opportunities for growth. And especially for students who say, I'm not into reading a lot of textbooks at this time in my life, but I love to work with my hands and I like to be able to develop that part of my practical intelligence. Then manufacturing, automotive technology, construction might actually be very good choices. But it doesn't mean that if you're doing this, you're just in a technical stream and that you can never do a bachelor's degree. So many of our students that start off with applied science degrees go on to finish bachelor's. And we hear a lot about college and general education. Those continue to be really, really important because it trains your mind to think, to develop ideas. And that's all part of the jobs today. It's not just technical and that I fix something over and over again and I don't have to think. That thinking, problem solving, being able to work in groups, taking the initiative are all parts of those career pathways. And so we want to be able to work with high schools, work with families, to be able to communicate what these options are so that there will be more students that will say, I can try that. Maybe that one's for me.
That's very interesting. And what's really encouraging as well is that there are lots of new funding opportunities opening doors to pathways in applied science degree programs that can then lead to these careers. So can you share a little bit about some of the different opportunities that Parkland has been able to take advantage of or that we're eyeing for the future as we think about both state and federal opportunities for funding?
Yes, there are a lot of different funding opportunities that help students to enter college. So Parkland has two big grants currently. One is for short-term training. For those people who are familiar with Parkland, we talk about the SWIFT program. And that focuses on helping low-income students and students from underrepresented communities come in and take short-term training. And those state-funded opportunities means that tuition is covered. And not only is tuition covered, there are stipends for coming to class, because we know that when students come to class, they are not taking part-time work outside and they do have to support themselves. So there are stipends that help to manage life. And then there are also other bits of that kind of program that help students look for jobs, apply for jobs, and then think in terms of what do I need to be able to develop in myself so that not only can I get a job, but I can keep the job and I can grow in the job. So all those what we call employability skills, right? So we have a program for that. We also, this current year, we have also state funds to help students who are interested in the health professions, health careers, huge demand. And we had challenging times during the pandemic. And the hospitals across the country, across the state, right here in Champaign-Urbana and in our surrounding areas, the hospitals and clinics are saying we desperately need trained workers in the healthcare profession. So whether it's in nursing or in what we call the allied health areas, so whether it's respiratory care, and the pandemic taught us that respiratory care technicians are hugely important in providing care when you're sick with COVID. We need surgical technologists, we need x-ray technicians. Each one of those areas that we, again, have state funding so that we can support a student fully through those areas. And we're working with our local hospitals so that there are jobs right at the end waiting for those students. So in cooperation with our local healthcare providers, we are looking to recruit students. And students are currently working in hospitals can actually up their skills so that they can have a higher level job, taking advantage of the skills that they can gain.
Yeah, and a lot of the programming that we have is reflective of those employer needs. And so for our viewers, can you share about all of the different ways or some of the ways that Parkland is interfacing with local industry? Because that might be a question as a community member or taxpayer. How do I know that what Parkland is offering is what the employers are needing? So can you share a little bit more about that?
One of the big things we are expanding on is agriculture, so that we work very closely with ag industry providers. And one of the big areas we are actually expanding in is what we call diesel technicians. That they are, you're those huge tractors, right? You see on the fields and big, what do you call those machines? The sprayers that apply, whether it's pesticides or fertilizer, and to do it in the right way so that you don't damage crop and you don't damage the soil, but it's just enough. We have a lot of those programs going, and those programs are all developed in conjunction with industry needs. So, for example, we work with Case New Holland, and we have a branded technician program so that students work with a sponsoring dealer. They come in and get the training, and they go back out and work with the dealer. And so there is support from industry for the student while they're in school. There is, while they are in school, opportunities to work with the dealer, and then upon graduating, there is a job waiting for them. Like in automotive technology, we also have another program with the Ford company, and each student that comes in has a sponsoring dealership, and those students, 8 weeks on campus, they're learning stuff here, and then 8 weeks they're back out in the dealership, and every time they go back out in the dealership, they get to a higher level of skill because their level of learning has also increased. And so again, working together with industry in these kind of apprenticeship programs, that the student is ready for work, and the employer is happy, our students have work, and their families are overjoyed that they get the chance to have support through school, and they have a secure job at the end of it.
Yeah. And another element that we hear a lot from employers, in addition to making sure that the technical skills that students are learning meet their needs, are also what we hear about employability skills or soft skills. And I know that in your past you worked for our CAS department, and were instrumental in developing that, which was also really about developing students just as much as it was about success in their courses. So how does Parkland address that need?
So when students come into our technical programs, I think I mentioned earlier about general education programs, right? That those are very much part and parcel of what we provide for the students. So not only when they're in automotive technology are they learning about engine parts, and they're learning about electric vehicles and current vehicles and how you bridge those technologies. At the same time, you're learning how to communicate on the job, how to deal with interpersonal conflicts on the job. You are learning about ethical standards and professional standards. So it's not just I got a job and I do the least I can, but that at every job you put forth your very best because there are standards, and you learn that internalized standards actually are very satisfying because you're going to do your best. And so that's how you also see yourself growing as a person. So it's not just focused on getting a job and earning, which we all need, but it's also seeing yourself develop as a person, and seeing yourself being a contributor to the industry, to society around you, and then you make your family proud.
So yes, we want to definitely want to make those moms and dads and other guardians very proud of us. So switching gears a little bit, recently at the board meeting last month, there was discussion, a report from our chief financial officer about the budget. There was some discussion about tuition. And so just for our viewers that are wondering how Parkland's doing, checking in kind of post-pandemic now that things have really stabilized in a different way, how are we doing? What's our standing in terms of the financial aspects of the college?
Well, I think at this time we can say Parkland College is doing well. We have come out through the pandemic, and you've probably heard, right, that we were hit enrollment-wise when the pandemic came on, and a lot of students said they didn't want to study online. And while all of this healthcare nightmare was going on in society, they thought they would stay out. We are seeing the students coming back, so that's good. And tuition revenue comes in with enrollment, so that's good. But at the same time, we were very fortunate that through the pandemic, we were able to get help from the federal government. So all institutions of higher education got that help, and that kind of gave us sort of short-term infusion of revenues to keep us stable. So at this time, Parkland College is doing well. But then looking down the road, we know that there are many things that are not entirely in our control. So whether we are getting revenues from the state, or whether taxes go up or they go down, whether students will continue coming, they're all factors that we have to bear in mind. And we think we are in a good position to be able to sustain our operations and be able to serve students well. The board did make a decision to increase tuition by a small amount, by 4%. For 4 years, the board decided that we will not raise tuition. So if you think in terms of that, right, 4%, 4 years we didn't have any increase. Now there's a 4% increase, which is historically what the board does. We do small increases each year. So if you spread that over 4 years of no increase, it's almost like it's 1% a year. And the board, I think, very intentionally took a small increase. While it keeps us in a good financial position, it is also not a shock to the student ability to budget for school. We also increased the student activity fee because that fee had not been increased for about 10 years. And actually the student government petitioned the board to say, can you please increase that part of the tuition and fees monies so that we can actually do more with student activities. So there was a bit of increase in that. So altogether, the students currently pay $171 per credit hour. Starting in the summer, they will pay $178.50.
Okay, well, thank you for the breakdown there. And it's, good to check in on how the college is doing. And it's been really encouraging to see both the financial standing and as well as those controlled sort of increases to make sure we stay on track in the future.
Right.
So, Dr. Lau, just last question, just opening the floor. If there's something you want the community to know about Parkland College today or what they can expect in the year ahead, what would you share with them?
Well, Parkland is always here for the community. And I like to say that Parkland is a community college. It is also this community's college. And one of the things that we would like to spread the message on to all the families, that they would actually think of Parkland as their college, and that this would be a very good choice. Whether you're going to start early college before you go away to a college outside of the District 505 area, or you want to come and stay with us, that we are here for the community. Many people tell me that Parkland is the jewel of the community, and we want to continue to do that. We are also looking for ways to help people who have not considered Parkland, that there is always a welcome here, and that we want to work with families so that they can see themselves growing as a family, as individuals, and benefit from what we have here at Parkland.
Well, thank you, Dr. Lau. Thank you for your leadership and making time to come on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Well, that's it for this episode of the Parkland Report. We thank you for sticking around, hearing what Dr. Lau has to say in her first couple of months as president. And I'm sure we'll be checking in with her from time to time. So that's it for today's show. And again, thanks for watching.